Okay, we're good to go. So, good morning, everybody. Anybody who is joining on the replay, please type replay below so that we can shout out and say hello, that we saw you. We wanted to hop in this week and talk about sugar because happy Halloween. It's going to be a gong show. Candace, I think you're going to be on screen, split screen the whole time, just so you know.
That's fine.
Unless you want me to switch it, but
it's okay.
This will be a true coffee chat. So if anybody else is hopping on, just like drop any questions or comments or say hello. But yeah, so basically what I wanted to talk about today was just a little bit about sugar, because I think a lot of us know that sugar is not good for you, but there's always going to be occasions where we're going to pound sugar and it just is what it is. So I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit about what happens in your guts and then the connection between what happens in your brain and your gut, because that's like super important when it comes to sugar. And then also we're going to talk about how to make your tummy more comfortable when you do eat like crap, or you do indulge in too many pieces of chocolate cake or too many mini chocolate bars or whatever. So Candace, do you actually have the Terrazyme and Digestive tablet or soft gels handy by chance?
Oh yeah, I'll grab them. Hang on.
All the ones for the special. Today's the last day to get the promo for like $100. It's over $100 in free product. And most of them are digestive. So I wanted to just highlight that today, because if anybody wants to get that promo, it's literally today's the last day. So message one of us and we'll help you make sure you get that today. So, okay. So one of the things we think about with sugar is what? It gives you a headache, or sometimes if you eat too much of it, you get a really bad stomach ache. What happens to you when you eat a ton of sugar?
I feel like I need a nap and my stomach. I don't really get a headache, but yeah, definitely my stomach, and I'm exhausted after.
Yeah, I'm the same way with my stomach. I just instantly get a really sore, like a bad stomach ache. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that can happen in like 4 or 5 bites of chocolate cake. Like it doesn't always have to be like an excessive amount, but depending on who made the cake, like you don't know how much sugar's in them. Yeah. My sister-in-law made an amazing one weekend, and I brought some home, which was, well, she sent it home with my mom and they snuck it into my fridge when I wasn't looking. But anyways, I'm the kind of person that just eats treats whenever I want. Like I don't hold myself back from that kind of stuff. But that particular cake makes my stomach hurt like almost instantly as soon as I take a bite. I think the icing doesn't help either. But what is I wanted to talk about like what actually happens in your gut. So for anybody who has sugar sensitivity when you're eating it and get a stomach ache, generally speaking, that means you have a lot of yeast in your intestines or in your digestive tract. So you've heard of like candida yeast before, right? Which is basically the yeast that shows up. It's not like the baker's yeast that you would use in bread. It's a different form of yeast, but it lives in your intestines. And so sugar is the thing that feeds it. So you might have heard of somebody that has like super bad brain fog or really bad headaches or terrible stomach issues, and they go to the naturopath and they find out that they have a candida yeast overgrowth. So the goal then is to go in and try to starve the yeast so that it literally kills it, basically. So yeah, what happens is you eat a lot of sugar, and whenever we eat food, if it doesn't get eaten by the good bacteria and the good digestive enzymes like that break it down so we can absorb it quickly, it travels down and keeps going into our intestines. And that's where a lot of the like inflammation and all that stuff happens. And so with sugar, for example, it will travel down there and it will feed that candida. So you know what it looks like when you're baking bread and you have to like rise the yeast first, like in a warm water with some honey, some kind of sugar. So the sugar feeds the yeast and actually like makes it bubble up like crazy. And that's exactly what happens in your intestines when you're feeding that yeast. So that's why you're getting that like super uncomfortable feeling very, very quickly. It's because it's hitting that yeast and it's bubbling up and going crazy. That's just like a good analogy to a way to think about it. And the other thing is that when you feed your body sugar, or sugar substitutes, so it could be aspartame and stuff like that, you're going to spike your blood sugar level, which is interesting because we all think like, oh, drink a diet pop because then you're not actually consuming any calories. But the problem, and this is what I always say whenever I talk about food and calories, is that we miss the point of what health is when we only focus on calories. Just like if you eat a French fry versus an almond, those are going to be 2 completely different foods, processed totally differently in your body, but exact same calorie content in one fry and one almond, right? Like, so when we're talking about diet pop, for example, or anything where you see low sugar, but it'll taste the same, generally speaking, we're adding like aspartame, sucralose, any of those things, which the body still recognizes, the brain still recognizes like, oh, it's sweet. So it will still release the insulin that would normally be required to still go in and help process that sugar. But then there's no sugar there. So then the body is like searching for it. And it's like this whole other thing that we could get into another day about like artificial sugars, but it's actually just as bad for you health wise as actually, I think it's even worse because it actually is a neurotoxin for your brain as well. So for any of you guys who are still stuck on adding Splenda to your coffee because you're watching calories, just stop it. I'm telling you right now, it's not worth it. Just add the sugar. You just need a little bit of sweet and a little bit of sugar in your diet is not a big deal. Your body's meant to process it, but tons and tons of refined sugar is where we got to get off that train, right? So the other thing I really wanted to touch on in terms of like a brain gut connection. So if you haven't heard that before, there's like humongous part of like the scientific community and like the health community who are looking into the connection between what's going on in our gut versus our brain. So that can definitely mean like mental health, emotional health, that kind of stuff. It's all related to what you eat. But one of the things I wanted to talk about that I think we often hear about is that sugar is almost like a drug. Like they'll show like scans of the brain, how your brain on cocaine actually reacts very similarly to when you have a big hit of refined sugar, which is so crazy. Obviously, cocaine is worse for you. I'm not saying that, but it's interesting because when, like, you know, when you eat something yummy or like a dish that you really enjoy, but if you eat it 3 or 4 days in a row, then you actually like your body doesn't like it anymore. And it's because our brains and our guts have actually evolved over time to really crave a variety of foods so that it can get, you know, that cross reference or that cross section of nutrients out of different colors of fruits and vegetables or different types of grains or different types of meat, because everything has such different nutritional components to it. And so what happens is normally we'll eat something like if you have a really yummy stir fry and then you eat it 2 or 3 days in a row. And then on the third day, your body's like, yeah, this doesn't taste that good anymore, you know, because it's craving variety. But that doesn't actually happen with sugar, which is why people will crave a ton of sugary foods that they can consume over and over and over, because the body never gets sick of sugar, just like a drug or alcohol or whatever. Like your body actually loves that dopamine hit and it will continue to go and crave that from anything that it can get it from. So it never reaches that like threshold with sugar where it's like, yeah, sugar doesn't taste that good to me today. So maybe like the chocolate cake is not making you feel good 3 days in a row, or maybe like the Halloween candy, you know, like we love them the first couple days we eat the mini chocolate bars, but then after, you know, 4 or 5 days, we're just like, oh my God, these are making me feel so sick. Hey, Corey, I just saw you hopped on. I think we're a little bit delayed, but I just saw you said hello. Anyways, but isn't that interesting how like the actual like chocolate bars themselves will start to taste like crap, but we're still in that dopamine searching, like that dopamine hit search. So then the more sugar we eat, like a drug, the more you have, the more you want. So
I notice that when I eat sugar, because I don't eat a lot of sugar. And when I do crave sweets, then I like want them all the time. Yes.
So that's what happens too in reverse when we go on to like clean eating diets and stuff like that. What we're trying to do, especially with the ones, our next one's going to be in January. For any of you guys who didn't do the last one, who were like sitting on the fence, January is going to be our next big cleanse, clean eating group. It's going to be so fun. But one of the biggest things we will talk about is balancing your blood sugar, because when you balance your blood sugar, you don't have that insulin production, you don't have that cortisol response, because every time you spike your blood sugar, it's a dopamine hit, but it's also like causing stress response literally by hormones in your body. So like you and I have been talking about lately that we just feel really off and really like what's going on here. But then if you look at what you've been eating, it's so obvious that we're treating our bodies like crap. And so because of what we put into our tummies, it's so connected to what goes on in our brain, which is mental and emotional health, obviously, that it's having such a huge effect on it. And the more you slide down the slippery slope of eating like crap, the more you just don't even care because you feel like crap, and all you're searching for are those very, very quick hits of anything that makes you feel good, which is the dopamine hits. So you're eating crap that has a lot of sugar in it. Pizza has a lot of sugar in it. Wine has a lot of sugar in it. Candy, obviously, chocolates, like you name it, fast food, all that stuff that seems like, I'm just going to have a cheeseburger. But like, have you actually looked to see what's in the bun and what's in the sauce and what's in the ketchup and all the things that we don't think about that's actually sugar? So it's a dopamine hit. Isn't that crazy?
I know. Like, it's funny, like condiments, how much sugar they have in it. Just the sauce.
Mustard is your only safe friend.
I hate mustard.
You have to read mustards too, because some of them do have sugar added to them now.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I love ketchup more just as much as the next person.
So much sugar.
But I'm not saying like don't ever eat sugar. It's just like we just have to be mindful of how often and how much we're consuming. Because again, like the body's totally able to deal with it in small portions. That's why if you only eat a little bit of whatever has a lot of sugar in it, then you're okay because your body can handle that. But as soon as you go over that threshold, it's now like a civil war in your intestines or in your stomach. Like the good and bad bacteria are literally fighting over that sugar because it's an easy thing for it to eat. But now you're feeding like the yeast and the bad bacteria that is causing terror in your intestines. And the other thing is that I like to talk a lot about inflammation. And so refined sugar is actually one of the top 3 things that you can like take out of your diet to avoid inflammation in your gut. And that's going to show up in skin problems, in brain fog, in memory stuff, in how good you feel on a general basis. It's like digestive health. Literally, if you have stomach aches, a lot of people who get into like Crohn's, IBS, all those types of like serious digestive problems, if they cut out gluten, dairy, and refined sugar, most of them actually have to, like they actually can't more. And it's because it's just like literally, remember I talked about the barbecue brush on the inside of your arm? So inflammatory foods, especially sugar, will literally go in like a barbecue brush and just like scrape the inside of your intestines, which is even softer and more sensitive than the inside of your arm. And if you think about like one little tear on or pull down on your inside arm with a barbecue brush, and it would be like, that didn't feel good. Another one. And then all of a sudden you actually have like open wounds that you're still scraping. And that's what happens in our intestines. And so like when sugar especially goes down in there, it's like this big train that comes down into your intestines, right? And because you can't digest it properly and it's not truly fuel, like it will give you like that quick energy and that quick dopamine hit, but it's not true fuel for your body, like protein and whole grains and fruits and vegetables that actually have fiber. And the reason that sugar that's naturally found in fruits and vegetables is not bad for you is because it comes along with the rest of the fruit that is built to be able to help your body give you everything you need to digest that properly and to slowly release sugar into your system. So when we have like the freight train of refined sugar that comes through, the body literally releases gases, like the intestines release gas because whenever the little digestive enzymes and stuff go in and eat it, it releases gas, just like when you put honey in warm water with your yeast, it releases gas, which is what makes it bubble up before you use the yeast, right? It's a good visual. I never thought about that one until today. I'm glad I found it. But yeah, like it's just like it wreaks havoc and releases gases, which is why you get a stomach ache really bad. You feel bloated. You feel like, like you need to have a nap. So that's actually what's going on in there. Did I lose my train of thought on something? I think I might have. I always talk about so many different things and then
you were just saying why the refined sugar is bad for you and like why the sugar that comes in like fruits your body can digest properly.
Yeah. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Fiber is actually like one of the most important things that we can add into our bodies because it goes in and actually there's different types of fiber. There's like water soluble or non. And so you have different types of fiber that is found in natural whole foods that will go in and actually like pull out toxins because they'll absorb the toxin and pull it all the way through so that it can be pooped out basically. And then you have other fiber that'll go in and actually like scrape the sides for you in a nice, gentle way. But often a lot of people that have constipation issues and stuff like that will take Metamucil or something like that. And that's fine for temporary relief, but you really don't want to be taking Metamucil every day for your entire life.
No.
You really want to start focusing on, okay, well, can I take out the foods that are causing this problem in the first place? And that's why I think that it's so important, especially for stuff like this that we do. It's like we're always focusing on the core, the root problem, as opposed to just like masking the symptom, which is what the normal medical field obviously.
And I think that's what's happened in the past. It's like laxative abuse, essentially. It's like when people aren't feeling good and then they use that all the time. It's like you can't be taking that every day as a supplement. It was supposed to be like a one-time relief kind of thing.
There's like a ton of people I know whose kids are on Restoralax every single day. And I was like, and it's hard for me because I'm like a little detective when it comes to something going wrong in like one of my kids' bodies or somebody else's kid's body. Like I like to like be the little detective to go in and figure out what the problem is. But it's like, I mean, ultimately, if you're willing and open to testing things out, to seeing like, okay, well, if I stopped feeding my kid dairy, for example, for 2 weeks, do I actually have that problem? But we're so stuck in our brains about how kids need milk till they're 2, or kids need dairy to be
Milk's
healthy.
gross.
Because it's been marketed to us that way. So it's not even really our fault. But it's like, if you haven't actually taken the time to go in and research dairy, then you wouldn't really know that. And so you would continue to feed your kid Restoralax because you think they need milk. But if you pulled out milk and just put in a milk alternative that's healthy, then you're good to go and you don't have to feed your kid laxatives.
Yeah.
So speaking of things that you can do to help your kid's tummy, the tummy tamer that comes, so there's yeah, let's talk about these products. So
I don't know, can you see that?
tummy tamer, yeah, I can see it.
And you just roll that on neat. It's already diluted, right?
Yeah, it's already diluted for kids. That's actually the kids line. So that's properly diluted for kids. So I used to roll that one on my infant. Like when he was screaming in the middle of the night with gas pain, I would roll that on his tummy. So I didn't have to give him Oval, or I didn't have to give him gripe water, or, you know, like any of the little medications you could buy at the pharmacy. I didn't have to do any of that. I would just roll that on his tummy, and within 10 minutes, he was like nothing ever happened. And sometimes what I would do is, you know, you get into the routine where, you know, kind of in the middle of the night, if they didn't burp well enough, if they're going to wake up with gas. So I would actually just roll that on his tummy before he went back to sleep. And then he wouldn't even wake up with the gas pains at all, because I knew that it would go in and do all that. So it was kind of perfect. But that one is excellent for kids. Anytime they get an upset stomach, just roll that on there. So it could be like car sick. It could be ate too much Halloween candy. It could be, you know, whatever, just like not feeling very well, a little bit of a stomach bug or whatever, just like roll that on there and they're fine. And you can obviously use it on adults too. And it's more of it's a gentler. So a lot of our Digestive type stuff will have peppermint, which is very strong. But this is a spearmint. So it's a lot more mild to like to smell it. But it still does work really, really well. And the thing about oils, we always want to try out like different ones to see which one works for your body the best, but that one's the one that's consistently shown to work the best on kids, that tummy tamer with the spearmint in it. I actually use Digestive or Zengest if you're in Canada. They call it Digestive in the US. For some reason our FDA or whoever the Canada equivalent is won't allow us to call it Digestive in Canada, so we call it Zengest. So if you have that at home and it's Zengest, that's the same thing, exact same product, just different name. But that one is amazing. If you have a bottle of it, I usually just like take a roller bottle and then mix it myself with coconut oil, because I roll that stuff on my stomach, my lower abdomen, like every single morning, because I used to have really bad constipation issues. And still they do get away on me if I'm not eating properly. So this helps just like get things moving, usually within like 15 to 20 minutes.
Even if you're in no discomfort, you just put that on as like proactive.
Yeah.
And then with these, the soft gels, I just got these for free. I was taking these, like if I ate like crap during the day, then I would take this at night so that it's like resetting it for the following day.
Totally.
So, like, should you be taking these every day?
You could, yeah.
You could. Essential
oils are cool because there's no side effects and there's no dependencies ever built on them.
Yeah, it says no more than 3 times a day.
Yeah, so if you took one at night, like, because if you were eating crappy or whatever, or even just as proactive because you have sore tummies, like that for me, I will eventually get on those ones like once a day. It's just like, you know how it is when you're trying to add new things to your routine. If you add too many things at once, it's just like,
overwhelming. Yeah.
So I just try to do them like one at a time, a little more slowly, so that it actually feels like a no-brainer anymore. But those I want to do because if you think about like the barbecue brush, it's great to crap inside your digestive tract, and you take those, it will literally go in and like start to calm the inflammation down, right? And that's what we want. But little bits at a time with essential oils, as opposed to like a pharmaceutical pill that you can go in that makes that symptom like instantly disappear, even though it's still there, but it masks the ability to feel it. A lot of like antacids and heartburn medication and stuff like that, it doesn't actually go in and like fix the problem that's happening. It just masks our ability to feel the problem. Does that make sense? Same with cholesterol pills and stuff like that. It's like blocking the ability for our body to like create those types of cholesterol, even though if you actually look at the way cholesterol works, it's like the opposite of what you should be doing if you have high cholesterol. One of the main things, this is so off topic from sugar, but one of the main things you want to remember with cholesterol, especially as we get older, because that's when those problems start to show up, especially for women. That's who I obviously have been talking to a lot more, but cholesterol it's a warning sign if you have high cholesterol that there's a lot of inflammation and wars going on down in your body, as opposed to like, oh, I just have high cholesterol count, like I need to use cholesterol blockers. That's just like ignoring the symptom. You're ignoring the fire that's literally showing up. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Back
That's
to
good.
the digestive stuff though, like I roll it on my tummy, and also that's what I used when I was pregnant. I would just put like a drop or two under my tongue for if I had really bad heartburn or indigestion when I was pregnant. I would use that, and those are like really, really nice. I think they're called adaptogenic herbs.
Yeah, that they do both things.
Yeah, so like whether you have an upset stomach because you have diarrhea and it's like gurgling and angry, or whether you're super constipated and backed up, it will actually like bring you into the middle and level you out.
I like that.
Which essential oils has that ability, because so many of the oils, their properties have like, 50 or 100 different properties. Like peppermint, I think has, I don't know, I think it's 32 or 38 different properties in it that can help. And they're researching it and finding new things that it does all the time. So that's why peppermint will work for an upset tummy and a headache. Oil, one drop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cool. Okay, we're almost at half an hour, so I want to.
And then the Terrazyme as well. I take this right before. Yeah, I don't take these every day. This is just if I know I'm going to eat something that my body's not going to agree with. Like obviously I try to be good at home, but if you're out, then just take one of these right before you eat.
So the Terrazyme is like a tummy tamer blend. It's like in the Digestive family, but it's actually like the point of those is as a digestive enzyme to go in there and help you break down that food. So
yeah,
you go and have like a bunch of pizza, or you have like too much bread before dinner, or you ate a huge turkey supper and your body's just like, you feel like you need to nap and you're bloated and whatever. I take 2 of those and it goes in there and just like just helps break it down, and then all of a sudden you just don't even have a sore stomach. Or
there's no bloating. It avoids the bloating right away, I think.
Yeah. So also I would say for anybody who has like a lot of consistent stomach upset, I would almost start taking that once a day with like each meal, just to help your body get that stuff moving through. I mean, again, you have to make sure that you're starting to recognize like what kind of foods should you be cutting out or only having occasionally. But then when you do have them, then you have the digestive enzymes to help. But you can take them like literally with each meal to help break it down and to digest it better, because we are not what we eat, we are what we can absorb. And so if food is not breaking down properly because you have so much inflammation like the barbecue brush all through your intestinal tract, then you literally won't be able to absorb it. So if you have digestive enzymes on top of, because we're missing so many digestive enzymes, we don't get exposure to them anymore through soil and through other things. Like that's just the way it is in our world now. So if we have extra digestive enzymes to go in and help break down that food, we can absorb it better. And that's key to overall health anyways. Okay, so the 4 things that are in that pack that we wanted to talk about today are the Digestive soft gels, the tummy tamer that you can roll on, peppermint oil straight up. You can use that literally anytime you want to, on your temples for a headache, back of your neck. You can use it, in your mouth for fresh breath, for helping like slow down on a like acid reflux or heartburn type thing. You can rub it directly on your tummy. It actually, if you put it on the back of your neck, if you have like a low grade fever, it can actually like pull the heat out of your body for you. So you got to be mindful of that for like if you're going outside sledding or something, and you want to use Copaiba or something else on the back of your neck, so you don't feel like you're freezing cold when you go outside.
I kind of like that to like wake you up, but if you're where you are, where it's snowing.
In the summertime, lots of people actually will throw it on their chest before they go running, because it opens up airways, like really get that deep breath when you're first starting your run. Or like spritz it. People that have hot flashes will often like mix it even just with water and just spritz it on themselves to like pull the heat out when they're having a hot flash. Or you can put it in hot chocolate for your, like instead of a sugar candy cane, it will give you the same taste like a peppermint hot chocolate or coffee, or like there's so many oils you can use in your coffee that will replace your sugary stuff, and it gives you the health benefit plus that yummy taste. You only need a drop.
Yeah.
well, instead of like a pump of like sugar-free vanilla or whatever, like that stuff is so bad for you. Don't drink it. Just kidding.
Once in a while.
Once in a while is totally fine. It's just the everyday stuff that we have to start to watch. And then what else is in there? Oh, the Calmer. So the Calmer is like a roller, and it's also in the kid line, and it's very calming and soothing. So this is like called, I think the promo is called like Digestive Ease or something, or Digest and Calm, something like that. So 3 of them are majorly good for digestion, and then the third one or the fourth one is just for like a lavender blend that you can roll on your kids, the bottoms of their feet, their chest, or you can put it on yourself like before bed or anytime you need to just like feel calmer. It's a really nice lavender blend, and it's very different than Serenity. So again, it's fun to just play around with all these different blends, and they smell amazing. So that's like over $100 of free product if you put in a 200 PV order. Today is the last day though. Halloween.
Right.
Today's the last day. So I just wanted to mention those things, and I think we're at just at a half an hour.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we're getting so good at this. So efficient.
I know. So ladies, if you were watching, please comment replay and drop any questions you have. And otherwise we will see you in the group this week. And this month coming up, November, starting tomorrow, we are going to be talking a lot more about emotional health. Because I think there isn't anybody who's not starting to feel the blues a little. So we're going to bust through the blues this month. And we're going to have,
that'll be the focus for all of November.
Yes. And we're going to have an amazing, powerful guest speaker at the end of November. So stay tuned for those details. We're so excited to have her, one of Candace's good friends, who's amazing with like, especially with like anxiety for women specifically. So I can't wait to hear from her. And yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about natural solutions because we're all going through it. But it's, you know, we have oils, which are tools that we have on hand. And if you don't have them on hand, you can't try them and use them. And even when I had like a little mini panic attack last week, I was like, what am I going to do? And then I was like, maybe I should try oils. Like, duh. And I did. And I felt it like 100% back to normal within 10 minutes. So it's also about just having those tools on hand to help yourself through what we're going through, right? So we're excited for November, but if you still want that promo, let us know. It's over $100 for free products, those 4 products. So today's last day. I think we're good.
Message us if you have any questions about any of those products or how to use them. Kind of went over it in the video, or if you need help ordering. Yeah, for sure. We'll get you hooked up. Yeah. Okay. Have a great Saturday. Yeah, you too.